What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Peak State Mathematics. We're going to take a look at some of our isosceles triangles and equilateral triangles today. So welcome back. I hope you're all in a good mood. If you're not, make sure you get up, get your energy flow, and get back into Peak State. All right, let's get at it. Here we go. All right, we're going to take a look, like I said, at the isosceles triangles, and we're going to start with that. What do we know about an isosceles triangle? First thing is, by definition, we have two congruent side lengths. Okay, so that's like literally the definition of an isosceles triangle. Well, I don't know if you remember, we were playing around with our hands, and if I have side length, so like the distance between my fingertips is the exact same. If I move this angle, no matter where I move it, if that distance is the same, the angle, so that space kind of around your palms, stays the same if the distance between your fingers stays the same. You can't change it, right? So if I know the distance or the side length is the same, then I also know these base angles, the angles across from those congruent side lengths are going to be the exact same. So let's take a look at how to solve these pieces then. The first one is real simple. If these are congruent, what's the value of x? It's 4. Good. X equals 4. If you know that the base angles are congruent, what's the measurement of angle 1? 43. Good. Okay. And then the only part that's going to take a little bit of math here is how do we find our remaining piece up there, angle 2? Well, you know that the three interior angles of a triangle are going to add up to 180. So let's go take a look at that. We've got 43 plus 43 plus the missing angle, or angle 2, going to add up to 180. Combine your like terms here, so 86. Isolate our variable, so we're going to subtract the 86 from both sides, and we'll see that the measure of angle 2 is equal to 94. And that will give us our last piece there. All right, so there's your three answers there for 20, 21, and 22 to help you through the homework quiz as we're working through that. Next one, I'm going to have you guys pause for a moment here, try it on your own, and then you can play through it, all right? So give it a pause, give it a shot on your own. We'll see you in just a second. All right, welcome back. So we've got congruent side lengths, definition of isosceles. So we know that x is equal to 3. We know that the base angles are congruent. So we know that 1 is equal to 2. Oh, I don't have either of those yet. So how can I find it? Well, if the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 2, let's see, measure angle 1 equals measure angle 2. And we know that the sum of the three angles, so the 1 plus 2 plus the 92 degrees that we do have, will add up to 180. We can basically substitute this in, and I'm just going to call it x for easier numbers right here and easier math. So x plus x would give us 2x plus 92. For those of you that like keeping it in that form, you could call this 2 times the measure of angle 1 if we substituted it in that way. I'm just going to call it x for right now. We're going to isolate our variables, so 2x will equal 88 when we subtract 92 from both sides. Get the coefficient of 1 by dividing by 2, and we'll see that our x value is 44. In other words, both these angles are 44 degrees. And we're done. Okay, so go ahead, fill those in. You've got your x value is 3. You've got your measure of angle 1 is 44. Your measure of angle 2 is 44. Let's go try to make this just a little bit more complicated. What do you think? Okay. Now, we're going to throw in some expressions, but all the same concepts are going to hold true here. I still got congruent base angles across from the congruent side lengths. I still have congruent side lengths, so I can set those equal to each other. And I know that all these angles are going to add up to 180. So using what we do know, I'm going to set up my x's first. I know those two sides are congruent, so I know that the 3x plus 4 equals 7x minus 8. Get your variables on the same side. So subtract 3x gets us 4x. Add the 8 over, and we'll get to 12. Divide by 4. We'll see that our x value is equal to 3. Awesome. If a more, not advanced, but like one more step, like maybe a question asks you to go find the actual side length, you can take this value and plug it in over there and then actually see what the distance is. Or if you want to check your answer, right, plug it into both equations and make sure you get the same answer because they should be the same length. All right, let's look at our base angles. Base angles are also congruent. So we know that this y plus 28 is equal to 3y plus 8. Get the variables on the same side. So 2y, subtract the 8 over, so 20. Divide both sides by 2, so our 10 is equal to our y value. And again, you can plug that in and see that we've got base angles that are 38 degrees each. And you can plug that into that triangle formula and make sure, oh yeah, 38 plus 38 is what, 76, and then add our 104 up top to get to 180, and we know that we've done this correctly. Awesome. All right, so that takes us through the isosceles. We're going to dive into equilateral. Basically, an equilateral triangle is an isosceles in 2 positions, right? And so that's going to help us remember some of these properties. I know that these 2 sides are congruent, so it's an isosceles triangle, right? And these base angles are congruent. Well, if this side is congruent to this side, then it's an isosceles triangle tipped over. So these 2 sides or 2 angles must be congruent with each other. And so what we find is that if all 3 sides are congruent, our definition of equilateral, then we know all 3 angles are congruent as well. So if this is 25, you guessed it, F is 25. If this is the same as this, is the same as this, I can say D plus D plus D is equal to 180, or 3D equals 180. In other words, D is 60 degrees. And this is always true for equilateral triangles. Those 3 angles will always be 60 degrees because they're always the exact same. All right, let's jump into something slightly more complicated. All right, similar approach here. You know your side lengths are the same, so we can set those equal. We know that the angles are all congruent, so we can set those equal to each other as well. Or actually, we know they're all equal to 60. That might be more helpful here since we got multiple variables. Let's take a look at that. So 27 is going to be equal to our 5a minus 3. So 30 equals 5a, a equals 6. So I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides. Over here, this is equal to 60 degrees. So that's really important to remember since there's a different variable up here, right? We can set this equal to 60 degrees as well. So then 4x equals 60. X would equal 15. And 2y plus 14 equals 60. 2y equals 46. Y equals 23. Perfect. All right. There's your pieces and elements there. Hopefully that's making more sense. I'm going to let you hit pause here for the last problem. Give it a shot on your own, and then we'll catch right back up and run through it. So set these up. Remember that you know you've got angles that are equal to 60 degrees each, and you know that all 3 of your sides are congruent. Okay? Give it a shot. All right, welcome back. Hopefully that went well for you. I know 21 is equal to P. That's nice and easy. I know that 3Q is equal to 21. So then if I divide both sides by 3, our Q is equal to 7. So the side lengths, I think, will be kind of the quick, easy ones there for you. We know these are interior angles are all equal to 60 degrees each, right? So 60 is going to be equal to our 10n. So 6 is equal to n. And then we've got r plus n, oh, that one's a little bit tricky, that's fun, equal to 60. And so if n is 6, let's plug that in here. And then subtract the 6 from both sides, so r is equal to 54. And then lastly, we've got 75 minus m is equal to 60. So if we subtract the 75 from both sides, a negative m is equal to a negative 15. Positive m is equal to a positive 15. And we're in good shape. We got them all. So hope that went well for you. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you at our next lesson.